Nisha ma'am, good morning.
Good morning, ma'am. Good morning.
Mangai, shall we start?
Ma'am,
Shall
shall
we
we
start?
start, ma'am?
Yeah, it's up to you. Or do you want to wait for a few more minutes?
It's 10:59, ma'am. Shall we wait for 3 minutes, ma'am?
Okay, okay, fine.
Thank you, ma'am. Ma'am, can we start now, ma'am? 30 have joined now.
Yeah, yes.
Chandra, Chandra, we can start
Yes,
the.
ma'am. Yes, ma'am. We
We
can
can start.
start.
Yes. Very good morning to one and all who have gathered here this Saturday morning virtually for this faculty enrichment program series 2 on design thinking. I'm very much honored to welcome you all and the foremost welcome to our esteemed, beloved, and enterprising principal, ma'am, the person behind this idea of faculty enrichment program, Dr. V. Raji Surma, for her gracious presence. Welcome you for this series, ma'am. It is also my a pleasure to have a cheerful welcome to the IQAC coordinator, Dr. Suresh, and all members of our college IQAC team and the NAC coordinator, Dr. Nisha Sharma, Associate Professor and Head of the Department of Hindi. A hearty welcome and a warm to all my friends and colleagues and the participants all over India. Nearly 111 participants have registered for this webinar series. and I welcome you all for taking pains to join on this Saturday morning. It's also a delightful or my profound, it's a, I don't know what to really say for the resource person who have immediately accepted our invitation uh, for this series. And on the behalf of IQAC team, NAC, and our own college principal and my own behalf, I would welcome Dr. Tilarvadi Tangraj for this faculty enrichment program series. To introduce the resource person, she is an alumnus of Avinash Lingam Deemed University, who is known for academic accolades in design thinking framework, which is a need of our topic, which is most useful as well to tackle the unknown problems. And I like to share the happy moments that she is my first batch of clinical nutrition and dietetics students at Avinash Lingam University, and I'm happy to see her growth heading the Department of Catering Science and Hotel Management in Dr. S.N.S. Rajalakshmi College of Arts and Science, Coimbatore. She was earlier associated with Department of Human Nutrition at University of Ethiopia as an associate professor, and she has a varied experience as a quality control manager in A1 chips uh, to the teaching faculty in Avinash Lingam University as well. And she's having many laurels to her. And one important credit is she's she has received the Innovative Ambassador Award by MOU, and she is the IBM Certified Design Thinker Creator. She has published more than 12 articles in international and national journals, and there is so many things to add, but I like to hear from her on this design thinking, which is going to be very useful. Hearing from these kind of person is really will benefit, and I'm sure that we all are going to transmit to students as well. And moreover, while we had a talk with our beloved principal, I like to note to the resource person that our principal too has completed uh, a design thinking program, and I'm sure that audience are going to have a wonderful event this morning. So once again, I welcome you all for this event. Thank you. And now, may I now request our principal to preside over the function. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. S. Alameli Mangai. So today's event is the second in the line of faculty engagement program series hosted by the Internal Quality Assurance Cell of our college. The aftermath of COVID-19, the pandemic has led to psychological issues, be it among the students or among the staff members. We see a sort of mental instability and people getting easily provoked. In this context, it was felt that we need to give some psychological orientation, like a faculty enrichment program, and for the students under the head of student enrichment program. In that way, the first one was on Ikigai, and now it is on design thinking. Thanks to Dr. Alameli Vangi again to find a resource person who can address on design thinking. And it's actually, as she said, it's a problem solving framework, but in a systematic manner. And it's a sort of self-improvement program, and the teachers can find the design thinking to be an engaging pedagogical approach to create new solutions, a new form of solutions by learning about people, their interest, and the related attributes like the critical thinking and creativity. It's slightly different from the traditional method of problem solving. Now, the origin of design thinking lie in the development of psychological studies on creativity in the year 1940s. It's dated back to 1940s, followed by 1950s by the development of creativity techniques. The mission of design thinking is to translate observation into insights and insights into products and services that will improve the lives of people and solve the problems of people. The goal of improving lives is an important endpoint to the process of design thinking. In fact, it's what design thinking is all about. That is finding fresh, creative solutions to the problem, but in a way that puts people and their needs first. Yes. It differs from a traditional problem solving method in a way that instead of starting with the problem, design thinking starts with the observation, as I told you earlier. It's informed by an understanding of the culture and the context of a problem, what people actually need rather than the problem. uh, um, we, the problem solvers, whoever's engaged in the problem solving endeavor, fits into the shoes of those who confront the problem. That's the endeavor. Normally, the solution that takes place from the standpoint of the problem solver. But here, in this context, we fit ourselves into the shoes of the persons who perceive the problem and then try to resolve. This is one of the important standpoint in problem solving process. And it has got 5 important principles. I think a research person can detail on that. It has got 5 principles, namely empathize, to define the issues, ideate, prototype, and the test. And I think, yeah, a resource person will be able to talk about the many other facets of design thinking. As a, in my note, I can proudly proclaim that, as Dr. Alameli Mangai said, that I underwent a basic course on design thinking from Indian Institute of Technology, Chennai. And the course was coordinated by two effective professors, Dr. Ashwin Mahalingam and Professor Bala Ramadurai from the Civil Engineering Department of IIT Chennai. And in fact, Professor Bala Ramadurai has authored a book on karmic thinking, which is a slight modification of the design thinking. So with these few words, I end my presidential address. Over to the event.
Thank you so much, ma'am, for your valuable inputs and gist of giving a gist about the design thinking process. And now may I welcome our resource person, Dr. Tilaga Vati, for her presentation. Over to you, Tilaga Vati.
Thank you, ma'am. At the very outset, I would like to thank Dr. Rajesh Sudmaran, ma'am, Principal, Bharatidasan Government College for Women, and my own mentor, Dr. Alamelu Mangai, ma'am, for giving me this wonderful opportunity to discuss some new phenomenon of design thinking, what we are doing in our regular practices, day-to-day practices, to the faculty fraternity. Thank you, ma'am. Thank you for the opportunity. Can I have my slides, ma'am?
Yes, Dr. Chandra, please share the slides.
Thank you. Thank you, Chandra, ma'am. So at SNS Group of Institutions, we are transforming ourselves into design thinker. And we believe that it's our own responsibility to extend the beauty of being a design thinker to all the faculty and even student fraternity all over the institutions. Why design thinking? Nowadays, you might have seen everywhere people are talking about design thinking and design thinking DT-based curriculum or DT-based problem solving approaches. But design thinking, if you think in the right way, it's a transformation of research what we are doing in the past decades. We start the research by reviewing literature, we've identified the gap and we just try to solve the issues. We frame hypotheses and we'll try to find something new or to try to support some new the phenomena what is available to accept or reject a phenomenon what that we framed. But design thinking, it's completely a different approach to solve a day-to-day problem of anybody. Okay, so as I'm aware that we all are faculty members, we are academicians, and the specific session today will be, I'll be discussing more on how to use design thinking, what is design thinking, and how we can use design thinking to grow ourselves for our professional development as an academicians. So here the topic says, goes in this way, design thinking, a problem solving approach for professional development. Can I have the next slide, ma'am? Yeah, thank you. So let us look into the basics. Let us understand what is design thinking was. Thinking is something what we think usually. So design thinking, we make ourselves, we believe ourselves, we transform ourselves as a designer. So we are changing our perspective of thinking. So usually the problem, what we look at the problems in the perceived way. We usually perceive something based on our perception, we treat the problems. So design thinking is completely a different strategy. It is making ourselves out from the perception, the beliefs what we have, usually what in the traditional way. Just breaking the traditional way, breaking our beliefs, breaking our perception, and trying to know what is exactly going on. This is what a design. Okay, so design thinking, it could be a mindset, and it could be it's a human-centered approach. And as Raji ma'am, she has given everything in a nutshell, and making people network, being with the people, make it collaborative, getting into listening to the people what they say, and making ourselves, putting ourselves into other shoes to listen to them, to understand their own problems. And obviously it could be an experimental process. And design thinking, it focuses on developing a growth mindset. This is what I'm trying to say. Developing a growth mindset. It may be a biased action and a willingness to tolerate the ambiguity. So this is how we are transforming ourselves, making ourselves just coming away from the comfort zones. So the process is to build on the belief that a risk is acceptable here. So in design thinking, we put ourselves into risk. So risks are acceptable, mistakes are welcome, mistakes are acceptable, and mistakes are, we treat the mistakes as the critical learning opportunities. So we put ourselves into risk and we try to solve our mistakes by learning new things. This is what design thinking exactly. And the tenets of design thinking, the strategical approach of design thinking can also be used. It is always related to something innovative. This is what very important in design thinking. Break the tradition. Do something new. Create something new. Try some new phenomenons. Okay, just come out of your comfort zones. So this is always, design thinking is connected with innovation. Okay, and innovation is often harder for people who lead a regular lifestyle, and even in our personal parts. If you think about the enterprise, design thinking is completely different. So in business context, the design thinking is completely different. But when it comes to ourselves as an academicians, when we try design thinking for our own personal development, and design thinking, as I mentioned, it is always related to the innovation, and innovation is often even harder in our personal paths than it is in the corporate world. So when it comes to our life, our own development, it's somehow harder, but it is very, we can learn it. Okay, we can try something new to make ourselves better. So can I have the next, ma'am? Yeah. So what can I use design thinking for? Why it is design thinking for me? So as you mentioned, to make ourselves grow better, to develop ourselves, to make ourselves thinking out of the box. We do have thousands of problems in teaching pedagogies, as ma'am mentioned, rightly mentioned, the principal ma'am rightly mentioned, even during the pandemic, we faced so many issues to teach, to follow the entire different scenario in the teaching. So online teaching, we just made everybody, I just appreciate our academic fraternity. We learned many technology during this pandemic. The pandemic, the right way, the positive side of the pandemic, even I would say, we learned many things technologically. We made ourselves sound. We learned new pedagogies. We learned new apps and so on. Okay. So here we, as per the need of the society, need of the students, need of the institution, need of the management, the need of the department, the need of the colleague, we need to grow day by day, minute to minute. Okay. So this is why I should use design thinking. This is a very simple way, and we can enjoy learning or adapting design thinking in our daily life, okay, even in our academic life. So change, we make ourselves to change. We try to change ourselves, that is to improvise. The change is only to improvise. So we cannot spell challenge. We can challenge anything with design thinking. We can challenge the pedagogy what we use, we can challenge the research methodology what we use, we can challenge our career development, we can challenge what all the obstacles they are there in your way of development. So with the change, with design thinking. So here, yeah, can I have the next, ma'am, please? Yeah. So before going to the process, the exact process, how we can implement design thinking or how we can start design thinking in our career development, here I would like to mention or clarify some more, to just add on some more basic points here. So as I mentioned you earlier, the mistakes, we all are human beings. Mistakes and uncertainties are common in our way. So here in design thinking, we make ourselves to accept our mistakes, not to justify our mistakes. This is very important. The consequences of making a mistake or taking a risk, you can say, or acting without a clear outcome may they feel unacceptable for people. Even for us, we may feel, and it may look unacceptable. People will not accept things which are going in a wrong way. And our own personal narratives even often focuses on what we can't do or on what it is not possible. We always think, no, this is not for me. This is not my ground. I can't do this. I won't. It's not possible. In such way, many things we take it in this manner. And the goal of design thinking is to change the way you think about the problem. And it focuses on correctly defining the problem. This is very, very important. And the first step, many of us, we mistake finding a solution to the problem because we never define the problem in the right way. And moving from the fixed mindset, and we just make ourselves reluctant to move ourselves from a fixed mindset to a growing mindset. This is where we are engaging with. Okay, so accepting mistakes and uncertainties. We often find ourselves staying in a certain path because because we feel. So this is a comfort zone for me. I feel safe in this zone. I never come out of this zone. So this is, I cannot do this. I cannot do this. I cannot take this, and so on. So most of us use negative things or automatic negative thoughts. Okay, but this is because it was inculcated from the beginning. Okay, some of the things we may feel comfort. We want ourselves being in our comfort zone always. So in our personal narratable, it is justifying to staying on a comfortable zone or part of a safety. And automatic negative thoughts or anything that start with, I can't, I shouldn't, I'm not good at, this is not my ground, and I don't. Usually we perceive these characters, negative characters for ourselves, even for ourselves, I would say. And design thinking starts with identifying and questioning this pattern of negative thinking. It starts from our thinking process first. The goal of design thinking is to turn these automatic negative thoughts into positive drives of actions. So here the starting point is making we think in a different way. And inherent the design thinking process is the idea that mistakes are actually opportunities. You treat the mistakes, you make mistakes, it is acceptable. And you treat the mistake as opportunities for learning and growth. This is what design thinking is doing exactly. And as accepting and learning from mistakes, it becomes a part of our process, the process of design thinking. And we become more comfortable navigating the risk and uncertainty. So before getting into the process of design thinking, we must change our mindset and we start questioning ourselves, why can't, why don't I, and so, okay. So let us look into what is exactly a design thinking process. As ma'am mentioned clearly, there are 5. Initially it was 7 and nowadays it is only 5. It starts from empathizing. I would detail each and every step of design thinking in detail to make you understand and make it clear. So it usually covers of empathizing, putting ourselves into others' shoes. Here what we are going to do, we think about ourselves in a different perspective. Okay? Then after identifying what are my negatives, what are my mistakes, what are the things I am good at, what are the things I can improvise, then I can define. This is very important. What is exactly I should modify, where I am lacking. So defining the problem exactly. Then after defining the problem, we ideate. We just make many number of, we can list out so many ideas, how I can improvise myself, how I can develop myself, how I can make this, I can develop my passion, my interest and everything. And I can just even ask people, talk with people and get their ideas too, their opinions too, okay, which make me to make a better man, better life, okay. And ideate. Here I'm making list of ideas and then I'm going to pick up some of the ideas best out of many things and I'll prototype the best one. Okay, just prototype the best one which is easier for me, which is actionable, and then I'm testing it. I'm just going to follow the idea, what the pattern, the prototype, what I have made or developed or designed for my own career growth or my own professional growth. Then I'm testing and I'm failing. It is need not necessary. The test always wins. So I test some of the idea. If it fails, I try other. Okay, so testing and failing is acceptable. Through the failures, I learn things, I develop myself. This is what design thinking process in career growth. Ma'am, can I have the next one, please? Yeah. So before getting into the process of design thinking, we just remember few things, that imagine yourself and believe yourself that you are a designer. You are a designer for your own career growth, your own development, your own personal development. Okay. Just I believe that I am a designer. I can design my life. Okay. Then second, embrace your beginner's mind. So the curiosity would be obvious. Okay, I just believe myself as a designer. So start like a designer. I try something new. I just fail. Then I'll go for the next and then fail. I learn things. So let yourself with a curiosity, high curiosity. Just get people ideas from. Just start, ask about yourself with your colleague. Ask about yourself with your management. Ask yourself about from your students, and they will give you all their perception, all their views. Then accept mistakes and uncertainties. Here what I am just insisting it and again and again. Accept mistakes and uncertainties. Once you are ready with these things, you can start the process of design thinking. And if you are only remember few things, and first thing I said, you are a designer. I believe myself as a designer. So how I can make myself a designer? What are the traits I should have? So as a designer, be very confident in your creative abilities. So innovation, I just insisted that always design thinking and innovation, they are one and the same. Okay, it always goes together. And as a designer, believe yourself so confident in your creative abilities. Then be strategic about what needs attention first. Prioritize what should be modified based on the prior. This is I am just I need to try some new pedagogies. I can say pedagogies for learning pedagogies, or I have to do. I'm making in research publication. Let me try the world's best international publication first. So start the priorities where you feel yourself somehow weaker. You just prioritize those areas first and listen to your stakeholders. Who will be your stakeholders? Your students, your colleagues, your management. Then the very important point, the collaborative agencies. This is very, very essential for us to create a network away from our institution. Okay, we don't make yourself just in like a frog in the well. Just make or create a strong network, interpersonal skills. So when you can create a network, when you have a very good interpersonal skills, you just the human powers, your connections, your network is a very big asset in your academic, not only in the academic life, even in the personal life. Your network is a very big asset. No one can destroy it. Okay, and listen to your stakeholders and be inspired to design for them. Okay, just design yourself for them because they are your stakeholders at our personal life, our kids, our in-laws, our spouse. They are the stakeholders in our academic life. The students, the collaborators, the management, the colleagues, they are the stakeholders. So listen to them, and just it's our opportunity and it's our responsibility to have an impact on their lives. We need to make some impact on our stakeholders' life. Okay, and this is a part of changing and growing mindset. This is a tactics or the strategies of being a design. Okay, so just let yourself learn and be willing, experiment, approach problems, embrace your beginner's mind. This is what I would like to mention. And let me describe the basic steps in design thinking and how you can use and utilize them to change your career path. Ma'am, can I have the next, please? Yeah. Design thinking always start with the first step of in the process of design thinking. The first step is empathizing. So to start, we need to know our own story because this design thinking we are making for ourselves. This design thinking process is meant for ourselves. Okay, so you need to know your own story. Who am I? What am I capable of? How has I grown? What are my talents? What are my negatives? What are my qualities? Just know your own story. Then look closely at your goals. We all might have set our goals. We are just working on the vision of our own goals and vision and mission. And challenge. The challenges you might be afraid to take on. Something I might be afraid of. Okay. And important milestones that may require to reach the milestones or to reach the goals. Just imagine, think all those things and write in a paper. Okay. Based on your own story, your own capabilities, your own experience, your own qualities. Then listen carefully to what you are telling yourself. Here, the conversation is between you and you. Examine your own personal narrative. So, if I say I'm good at research, then question yourself. Am I really good at research? How many international publications I have made? What impact I made in this society? This is the research what we are doing. It is not for just improving the number of publications that increase the value in the CV. It is not at all in that way. What impact that I created based on my knowledge and my skills, what impact I that created to improvise the societal issue? What answer I gave for the two issues to solve the problem of the society? Ask yourself, be genuine. Okay? Then, just listen carefully to yourself and examine your own personal narratives. Be sure to identify those automatic negative thoughts. Here I may say, no, I may ask if this, even to the same question, I may say, no, I don't have time. I have already held up with so many responsibilities. Where I can get my time to go for a wonderful research and exact research to me, which makes an impact on the society. Okay? Irrespective of that into negative thoughts, just making the negative feelings, you just try to give a genuine answer to those questions where what my research area should be, what I should really do in a research, okay? What problem I'm going to solve, what gap I identified those international research studies. So recognize, understand, and challenge the way you think about yourself and your career is a very, very critical step, even I would say. And this is changing our narrative. And if I ask this question, why I'm doing this, why just I'm increasing my numbers of publication, why don't I do some impactful research? Ask questioning you. Why don't I do this? Let me do this. Okay? Then, here start the growth mindset. Then, may I have the next one? The second process after empathizing. Okay, after listening to my own story, after answering to my questions where I'm capable of, and breaking all those negative thoughts and asking why don't I, then comes the define part, the second phase of design thinking. Here we have to define a problem before you solve it. Many people fail in the problem solution because the defining for this is a very critical point, a very important point, phase I would say in the design thinking. So unfortunately, many of us spend too much time trying to solve the wrong problem. Okay. The key is making sure that the problem you want to solve is actionable. Many of the time, we may have so many ideas, millions of ideas, but we do not know how actionable it would be, how practicable it would be. Okay, here we fail. Some problems simply aren't, they are not at all actionable. Okay, we may think in this way, oh, why don't we, I say, I do this, why don't I do this one, try this one. But try, check whether these, your imaginations or your problems are really actionable. Then, usually this is, these problems are called gravity problems, okay. Gravity problems are those, for example, I would say, we may have always dreamed about being a rock star. Okay, some of us might not all, but some of us might dreamed about being a rock star or pop star. But if we have reached in the middle age, okay, and if we all reach the middle age, obviously, and have a family and mortgages, we have many responsibilities. And we haven't played an instrument, we haven't not touched any instrument before. Just we dreamt about being a rock star. Then since even from the school age, you are dreaming the same thing, but you have never touched any instruments or any steps to dance and so on. Then this dream is likely not actionable. Okay, here comes what we are practiced. And we just left due to many reasons. Because I would say I love painting, I love drawing. Okay, so even in the school, during my school age, I have won many prizes in poetry writing and painting competitions. But after getting married and getting into the academic life, we can just concentrated on the students' growth and so on. I just neglected my own growth, I would say. So I never thought about, I have a dream to become a very good poetry writing. I just bothered making myself, developing myself betterment in poetry writing and so on. Many times if I see something else, I thought of 3-4 lines will come in my mind to write about a poetic way. But I never sit and write those lines for the past 15 years, I would say. Okay. So this is what it should be actionable. If I sit and write, make my own time to write the poets, I can do that. Because if I want to become a good dancer, I cannot, because it is not at all my way. I never danced. I never even started a step. Okay. So this is what actionable dreams and inactionable dreams. Okay. So you might have some practices or passion or interest towards your dreams. Okay. So other times the problem is, this is one way, having the what I can say, the gravity problems. Okay. The second one of where we fail is, I would say, the other times the problem is too broad or undefined. For instance, we are often told to follow our passion. Okay, many of the time we have taught that just follow your passion, follow your interest. Many of us told us, many of the mentors, advisors, our guides, they have told us, even our parents, just they might have told us to follow our passion. But unfortunately, this problem demands a level of certainty that most of us, we do not have those certainty, okay? And in reality, most people have, they have many interests and strengths. If you ask about a passion, they may list many things. This is not a real passion, okay? Those are interests. Passion is different, interest is different. Even the same thing, if you ask your own student, they may, if you ask about their interest, they list many interests. And if you ask about their passion, they may struggle to just define their passion in a single statement, okay? And all of which we could form the foundation of successful career. We have to define our passion first, okay? Then try to reframe the identified problem of ourselves, where we are, we feel ourselves weaker and where we can improvise ourselves. So after reframing the problem so that it is actionable. So based on, this is completely tailor-made. It differs from person to person, okay? So make the problem which is, just define the problem which is actionable, okay? Which I can do, really. And you may find yourself complaining, for example, that the large, stable company where you work, for instance, if you're working in a large, stable company, if they do not, they no longer have a startup environment. This is an example I'm saying. Okay, just imagine if you are working in a very big company, multinational company, where they no longer have a startup environment that you love. You may have an ideology of having a startup business, but there is no provision provided in your company where you can think about your own startup. And in that place, if you're in that place and imagining about your own startup, there you go wrong. Okay? Then asking the company to stay startup, it is not actionable. You cannot ask the company to just provide the provisions for the employers to start their own startups. It is absolutely, it is not. Okay? And instead, you can ask yourself whether you can be happy in that stable company, or whether you want to seek a new opportunity to another startup. So here, based on the actionable part, you have to define your problem and you have to take action on that problem. Okay? And then, can I have the next one? So after defining a problem, here comes where you can develop myself. I just made a very clear statement where I should improvise myself. Okay? Then ideate. The third step in the process of design thinking. So here we have to be so creative and ask what if, and engage in a creative brainstorming. Generate multiple options, hundreds of options to yourself. Be so creative. Just let your mind be free. Okay? Then don't dismiss anything out of hand. And even in this today's world, competitive world, innovation often stalls at this point in the process. Ideation, innovation in idea. Okay, that wins. People are quick to dismiss ideas that even it seems too far-fetched, unrealistic, or impossible. Many of the times people are quick to dismiss ideas that seem, if you ask some ideas, people will come, tuck, many ideas they'll give, but they never thought about how it could be actionable, okay, whether it is practical or not. Okay, here embracing the impractical is inherent in the design thinking process. So instead of quickly dismissing the ideas, allow, stay calm, allow them to percolate. Okay, then percolate. Think about how these ideas create opportunities for you to step outside your comfort zone. Yeah, thank you, ma'am. So here where we start coming out of a previous, ma'am. I'm still in the ideation. Yeah. So here making ourselves coming out of our comfort zone start here in the ideation phase. We think creative, we think innovatively. In other words, we can say practice saying yes instead of no. We started saying yes from this phase. Okay. I never going to say no in this design thinking process. When I started ideating, I ideate new things. I come out of my comfort zone and I make myself, why don't I? Okay, I ask myself yes only. Okay, then here this is a great place in the process to ask for help. Even you can get help from your stakeholders. Reach out and ask people for their ideas and their thoughts, especially your stakeholders, and be sure in step outside of usual networks. Okay, don't make yourself within very short circle. Make yourself wider, like a bird. You just fly like a bird. You create networks. You create different collaborators in industry part, then research part, then academia. I hope all might have a very academic network, but you try to create your network in the industry area, in the research area, in the societal area too. And we have a natural tendency to seek out people who think as we do, and we reinforce our own narratives. Okay, so by seeking out people who don't think like you. Okay, so different mentality, different perception. Okay, don't choose the people who have the same pulse like you. Okay, we usually make friends, make network who matches with our pulse. Okay, this is where we feel comfort. Just come out of it. People have different opinions. Okay, definitely right. The exact opposite characters of yours. You just ask their perceptions, their views, and you will strengthen your growth mindset. Growth mindsets start from here. Okay, and you may even hear some new ideas, and you didn't think about yourself. Okay, people may give many positives where you never thought about yourself. Okay, and can I have the next, ma'am? So after getting innovative ideas which can develop myself to grow further, I'm going to prototype and test. I'm going to do a trial. Okay. So in official design thinking processes in the corporate world, in the competitive world, prototyping and testing are often broken out into two distinct steps, which is where you can think about your career, your products, and so. But here it is exactly the different story. Okay. So here it is very important to remember that the process of prototyping and testing is iterative. It is tailor-made. It is different for you and different for me. And when thinking about our career, and especially the academic career, however, it is important to remember that the prototyping is very important because mistakes and failure are built into design thinking. It is obvious in design thinking, mistakes are obvious. In design thinking, the failure is very obvious, and it is important to give ourselves space to develop and test a variety. Okay, if one idea fails, I try another. Nothing wrong in that. So just try up ideas, focus particular attention or those ideas to push our outside comfort zone. Okay, let me start a very actionable, very easy idea first. Let me try out of that. If I fail, I can choose another. Okay, then it is also important to break our bigger ideas into very smaller ones and more actionable parts. Then starting with small goals. I would say with an example, the same research part. If I want to do some impactful research to address the societal issue, okay, or international societal issue, it is not necessary to go about a big project proposal in a right way, okay. It could be in a larger duration. But immediately what I can do, I analyze what is happening. Okay, what is the gap here? If I'm just trying to find the hunger part. Hunger, even it's still hunger is a very big challenge. Though we are in 21st century, many people, if you say there are mortality due to hunger, it is happening. We are in the world, okay, where the people are dying because of hunger, but it is not eradicated at all. 100% people, if it should be one day where all people have their own food, at least they are satisfied with their basic needs. It should be in that way. So how, with my efforts, with my qualities, with my attributes, how I can address this issue? Okay, just start a simple solution. Okay, then you can build and build, and you can have a bigger international collaborative research and try whether it is working or not. It should be in that way, not immediately taking into the proposal. Okay, then fleshing out and testing and unusual suggestions may not lead to where you expect, but it may lead to other ideas too. When you start with a smaller one, it may take you to other innovative ideas. And I can say, yeah, until you discover yourself moving an entirely unexpected direction, you are there in the right direction of design thinking. You are transforming yourself as you are just as a designer. You are improvising. You are in the right place. Okay, you are improvising your professional career, academic career, and the outcome of design thinking is obviously, we hope it will be a surprising and satisfying career development. Okay. So with this short note, I would conclude my session. And if you have any doubts, I will come an opportunity to clarify your doubts too. Can I have the next, ma'am? Yeah, thank you for the opportunity. Hi, ma'am. Pradeepa, ma'am.
Hello, Dr. Tilakavati. First of all, enjoyed listening to you after months. Very nice. I thought coordinators will permit to ask question. Can I please ask? May I ask the question?
First of all, let me thank Dr. Tilakavati for
Yes,
an
yes, please,
interesting
please.
presentation. It was a wonderful session, ma'am. You have explored new areas to all the faculty members here. And now the session is open for interaction. Please go ahead with your questions, Dr. Pratima. Thank you.
Yes, ma'am.
Sorry. Let me please, thank you, madam. Thank you. Let me start with appreciating Dr. Tilakavati for her wonderful inputs in the session. And rightly, the inputs are coming on the chat. Very interesting. I also wish to add, very insightful as well. Perhaps being a 21st century skill set, this design thinking is the need of the hour. So congratulations, Dr. Tilakavati. Great job. And appreciation to the organizing team of the college. When principal madam and the coordinator madam were sharing initial thoughts, that itself felt that this topic is something which is required now. And how beautiful to begin with teachers who can translate that into the classroom for students. Exactly, my question is resting on here, Dr. Tilakavati. You narrated beautifully the whole concept, that 5 steps, 7 have become now 5. You brought out a lot of examples as well. Wow. Now, my question is that can you please link design thinking from as a pedagogical tool perspective? Can you please tell teachers how they can use this concept into the classroom teaching much beyond the research? Please, your call, please. Thank you.
The right question, which we are doing after the pandemic. Even during the pandemic, and we just changed to the previous one, not the traditional way. Even now, after the pandemic, we are just following the new pedagogical way, the collaborative learning. We just using the flipped classrooms, the new innovative teaching pedagogies, even using which technology based. Okay, so here we use a collaborative way we just ask the students in what way they want to learn. Okay, previously it was on from the point of the teacher. Now we just made everything on the point of the, it's a, since it is a human centric, we start from the stakeholders. Okay, rightly from students what they actually need. It's we are just following experimental learning, the real time experiences, just taking out, just we go out of the classroom. It's just you can stay around 20 minutes in the classroom teaching with a blackboard and chart and so on. But be collaborative, take a new experience, go out of the classrooms, take them out, take them to the industries, make them learn to the new environment. And this is what the real pedagogy, what we need to do in this right scenario. Because students nowadays, they are so studious, they are so talented, they are so innovative, they give more ideas to us. Okay, the students' ideas, I would say that we are getting more ideas, we are making so many corrections from the feedback of the students. So their expectation is completely different. They need the experiential and collaborative learning. In networking, we are linking our students with the industrialists, we are networking our students with the researchers, we are networking our students with the other stakeholders too. This is what I would say. What we are doing at SNS.
I totally second you. That is about collaborative or student-centric learning. With this collaborative or peer-centric are key types of teaching pedagogies. My question was resting on your current session. How design thinking can be brought to the classroom by teachers?
Yeah, we empathize starting from the students' part, ma'am. So based on their interest,
Okay.
their perspective, we just completely changed our traditional way of teaching.
Okay.
So even we ask our
Fair
students
enough.
to give suggestions. Yeah, we pick the best and we just testing those pedagogies, and we after getting whether the students' feedback, whether if they are improvising, we are just implementing those ideas.
Right. Okay, fine. Thank you so much. Thank you. Good to hear to you. Thank you.
Dr. Bejadas has raised the hand. Can you ask the question, please? Dr. Santalakshmi Subramanian, if you have any questions, please go ahead. I have called these names because they have raised their hands. The other participants now, if they don't have any questions, those who have raised their hands, you can go ahead with your questions, please.
Yeah, I'm available. Any questions and queries? Is there any questions in the chat box, ma'am?
No, ma'am. Actually, there are messages appreciating your presentation. I can find some messages praising your presentation. There are no questions actually.
Okay, okay then.
Dr. Tilagavati, it was a wonderful presentation and the new concept really that you have imbibed and very clearly presented shows that really you are worth for having obtained the patent for this design thinking tool good. And let me just pose a simple question probably. How far you are successful in implementing this new concept of design thinking? In what way it has helped you, especially in the academic development?
Yeah, thank you for the question, ma'am. Actually, design thinking, as ma'am rightly mentioned, we just got the patent for because we just empathized from the student point, ma'am. We just want to improvise our institutions, the placement, okay, placement opportunities, 100% placement. Actually, we are satisfied with the placement opportunities, but we make the placement opportunity in the best places, okay, with the best the what we can say, the payments, Okay, and we starting empathizing these just improvise their placement opportunities and the entrepreneurship mindset. We started empathizing starting from the industry, and based on the industrial needs, we framed our syllabus, curriculum, and based on the design thinking process. And after implementing this we are implementing the design thinking curriculum last year, just in last year, and we are seeing a drastic change. Even in the second year, our students are getting high package salary, high package placements, and most of the students are getting 4 or 5 placement opportunities at a single hand. Okay, so this is obviously we are looking at the drastic changes in implementing the design thinking curriculum in our institution. So this design thinking curriculum, in what objective we have set this design thinking curriculum, we just reached that objective. It is very, I would say, it is seen visibly.
Okay.
We identified, okay, we are on the right track.
Thank you, Dr. Tilagavati. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you for the opportunity. Thank you, Principal Ma'am, Rajasukumaran Ma'am, and my mentor, Alamelu Mangai Ma'am, for giving me this wonderful opportunity. Thank you, Pratima Ma'am, and other participants who joined from institutions. Thank you once again.
Very nice. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you for the interaction. Now I invite Dr. Nisha, Associate Professor and Head, Department of Hindi, Vadidasan Government College for Women, to thank the resource person as well as the participants and the organizers. Please, ma'am, give your vote of thanks.
Good noon. It has been such an honor to be a part of this wonderful event. On behalf of IQAC, firstly, I would like to thank our dynamic principal, Dr. V. Rajasukumar, who is a supporting and guiding force behind this faculty enrichment program. I extend my heartfelt gratitude to our esteemed guest, Dr. T. Telagavati, Head Department of Catering, Science and Hotel Management, Dr. SNS Rajalakshmi College of Arts and Science, Coimbatore, for accepting our invitation and for being with us today. Your presentation has truly inspired us. The knowledge we gained about design thinking and problem solving, not only it will help us in our day-to-day personal and professional life, but also we should try to disseminate our knowledge to the students too. So my wholehearted thanks to you, ma'am. My sincere thanks to the organizer, Dr. Suresh, IQAC coordinator, and his team, Dr. Almelu Mangai, Chairperson Legal Cell, Dr. Chandra for technical support, and all those people who have directly or indirectly helped us in organizing this event. Finally, I would like to thank all of you who are present virtually and sparing your time to be with us and making this event wonderful and memorable one. Thank you one and all.
Thank you so much, ma'am.
Ma'am, can I leave the session, ma'am? You permit?
Yeah, Tilagavati, thank you so much. On a working
you.
day, you have really spared a good time with us. On behalf of principal, just now principal called, she's with some appreciating call, and she said personally, thanks for you. And on behalf of, as Anisha ma'am pointed out, once again, thank you. Waiting to collaborate with you more.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you so
Thank
much.
you. And I thank personally Chandra for taking care of this session and for all
Thank
your
you.
support, Chandra,
Thank you
and
so
all
much.
our colleagues and friends. Thank you. Thank you,
Thank
Nisha ma'am.
Yes, thank you, Almelu Mangai.